The Pittsburgh Steelers have been named landing spots for a somewhat surprising face, a surprising name, but definitely a name that they should consider. Definitely a name that changes plenty about this football team and this defense, and definitely a name worth exploring if he's out there. What's going on, everybody? I'm Noah Strackmine. Thank you for jumping on to Steelers to Go, your daily to-go cup of Pittsburgh Steelers news and analysis. Find us on youtube.com/All Steelers Talk and subscribe anywhere you get your podcast. The Pittsburgh Steelers have been named landing spots for a very star-studded name in the AFC West. According to, or predicted by, I should say, Connor Orr of Sports Illustrated, he named 9 trades he would like to see happen that he believes are the perfect fit, have the perfect compensation, and should be able to work out almost flawlessly before the trade deadline. And amongst those 9 trades are the Pittsburgh Steelers acquiring Denver Broncos safety Justin Simmons. I know, a bit surprising, because all we've talked about is Patrick Surtain and Jalen Johnson, and when you hear Broncos defensive back, you immediately go, the Pittsburgh Steelers have been named landing spots for Patrick Surtain. That's huge. Can't believe that one. Well, I think it's still very much so iffy if Surtain is actually on the trading block and the Broncos are actually willing and open to trade him. As for Simmons, it's very clear from what I have read and what I have seen that Justin Simmons is on the trading block. He is most certainly available, and if the Pittsburgh Steelers want to call, they're going to listen. They're in clean house mode and just get ready for next season, and understandable with a new head coach, but for the Pittsburgh Steelers, I mean, one man's trash is another man's treasure. Orr writes, quote, while this may seem odd, given the Steelers are settled at the position, Simmons could break open the defense and allow all of its component parts to spread their wings. Safeties are valuable, especially rangy ones in a division where the more physical the secondary, the better its chances of survival. Pittsburgh is not one offensive upgrade away from becoming an elite offense, but Simmons could get the Steelers to a territory where, if Pittsburgh makes the playoffs as a low seed, it could have a better chance of completely upending an opponent by showing them something they haven't seen all season, or simply overwhelming them with experience in the secondary and creating the critical turnover. This would remind me a little of when they plucked Minkah Fitzpatrick away from the Dolphins in 2019. I got to start there. I don't believe that this is the same situation as when you went and got Minkah Fitzpatrick. I mean, you got to look back. Sean Davis got injured. Ben Roethlisberger got injured. The Steelers knew that their defense was elite and that they needed to go get somebody if they were going to survive. And what did they do? They went and tossed a first-round pick at the Miami Dolphins for a guy who wasn't even out of his rookie contract yet, who was very young, who was a top 10 pick. I mean, Minkah Fitzpatrick was a trade that is very hard to compare anything to. And what he did for the Pittsburgh Steelers defense is very, very, very difficult to compare anything to. Justin Simmons, though, brings a lot to Pittsburgh. I mean, this guy led the league in interceptions last season. He's just about 30 years old. He'll be 30 in about 2 weeks from this video. He's got 1 INT this year. He plays safety, obviously, for the Broncos, but even if the Steelers have options at safety, it opens up a lot. Damontae Kazee and Keanu Neal have worked fine as a safety duo. I think Damontae Kazee has played a little bit better this season than Keanu Neal has. Minkah, on the other hand, has been moving around. The Steelers are finally allowing him to naturally fit positions instead of trying to force things on him like they did 2 years ago in Keith Butler's final season as defensive coordinator, when it was like, okay, Minkah is going to be Troy Polamalu. This is what we're going to allow him to do. It didn't really work out the same way. This year, it's more Minkah is going to be a controlled variable that is spread out more. He's going to play more in the slot. He's going to play more in the nickel. He's going to play up when you need a safety and run support. That's going to be him. But at the same time, you leave a gap open in the back whenever you do that, because yeah, Damontae Kazee can cover, and he's come up with reliable plays, and I think Damontae Kazee is starter capable in the NFL, and especially with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Keanu Neal has let up some plays, but I think what it does overall, and where things get interesting. And obviously, we're going to talk about compensation here in a minute, and that plays probably the biggest role. But when you look at Justin Simmons and you look at a guy who is just such a ball hawk as a deep safety, you really, really, truly allow yourself to have options in the secondary because Minkah Fitzpatrick is so dangerous. You should not be spending, I think it would be like almost $40 million at your safety position long term. But if you want to do it for a season and just see if it works, I think it makes all the sense in the world. I think it, if you're going to go and try to win anything this season, it's going to be through your defense. Patrick Peterson and Levi Wallace are giant question marks at this point, and Joey Porter Jr. isn't a solidified answer. So you're looking just for any option you can get. And if Patrick Surtain is not on the market, if Jalen Johnson is not on the market, which the Chicago Bears and he are working on a deal, and that looks like it's almost fading for a team like the Pittsburgh Steelers, who probably could have went and grabbed a young corner to pair with Joey Porter Jr. this season and moving forward. If they can't get one of those guys, if they got to wait until the offseason to go and get a young cornerback, jack up the safety room. Go add Justin Simmons. Go bring in another guy that you could look at and say, okay, not only when these two are back there playing together, they are probably the most dangerous safety duo in the NFL. I think they are easily the most dangerous safety duo in the NFL. But Justin Simmons brings turnover potential like almost no other. You're talking 6 interceptions last season, 5 interceptions the season before that, 5 interceptions the season before that, 4 interceptions the season before that. The guy's got 28 in his career. He's just about 30 years old. He knows how to come up with picks. You want that? You want that splash? Add it. You allow Minkah Fitzpatrick to move around, play wherever he wants to play, wherever you need him to play, and be a playmaker. Damontae KZ has experience in the nickel, experience in the slot. You can move him down. Keanu Neal has so much experience in the box. You could make him a more versatile option, or even add him to your linebacker core to kind of add another coverage option if you need somebody there. It just brings movement. It brings the ability for the Pittsburgh Steelers to say, yeah, we got holes. Our holes are definitely serious at times. Our holes need to be fixed. How do we fix these holes? We might not have the answer right now, but we could go out and load up our secondary and just say, hey, we'll figure it out as we go. Maybe that's the best case scenario for the Pittsburgh Steelers right now. And if it turns out to be, if they don't have another option, if they can't find another corner somewhere, if they can't find another trade, I mean, is this the best fallback option that you could possibly have? I think so. I would say yes. As for trade compensation, what the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to give up, or says that a 3rd-round pick should probably do the trick. And my head immediately went, yeah, okay, sounds good to me. Why would you not give up a 3rd-round pick for Justin Simmons? Why would you not give up a 3rd-round pick to bulk up a defense that you believe in already? You know what I mean? The Pittsburgh Steelers aren't looking at the season and saying, oh, we're 4-2. Chances are we're not making the Super Bowl, so why would we even try? No, I just went on here yesterday or 2 days ago and talked about how the Pittsburgh Steelers should listen to the Philadelphia Eagles and how they got rid of Terrell Edmunds to go get a superstar safety because they needed a superstar safety. If the Pittsburgh Steelers believe they are a playoff team, if they believe they have the expectations in their head that they're a Super Bowl caliber team and they could beat teams like the Kansas City Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills and the Miami Dolphins and whoever else you're going to toss at them in the postseason, go load up your defense. Go make it as dangerous as possible. Justin Simmons is an easy answer there. He's not the best answer. He's not a fix-all solution, but he's a star that you could get for a 3rd-round pick for a secondary that could probably use 1 or 2 more stars. Seems like a yes to me.